right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And of course, thanks for subscribing. It's been a minute since we made a video. A lot of stuff going on, in the Tesla community we got to catch up on. But right now, we've got the latest FSD update, 14.3.5. This is the latest build or latest software update that includes a step increase in the FSD release number. We've got a couple of releases that were just still version 14.3.4. but now we're in 14.3.5. Release notes look identical, nothing of note. However, we do get this camera preview while not in park, which is a general update beyond just the FSD that comes with this particular car. So that comes with this particular build. So effectively the same release notes. We're going to take it out for a spin, see if we notice anything different than before. We're going to go the same route, sort of doing the same apples to apples, driving to the same target, which is a new target, unmapped, to see what map differences have changed and how it decides to park, where it decides to park, come from a different angle, and see what it's hitting for. So let's go ahead and jump in right now and get started, and we will tap to go and see it pull right out and go to where it needs to go. It's been rock solid, version 14, so that's been great. Once we get out here, we'll also test out the camera preview. Camera preview is important because it allows you to be able to see all the cameras simultaneously to see if there's any issues. I'll pop my cameras up like I normally do. So we get to see this multi-view and just putting the cameras up. And if you have the forward-facing camera, you can toggle between the back and the front, which is great. But being able to see all the cameras, to see how clean they are or dirty they are, is super helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I might get caught at this light. I'll use it as an opportunity to do that. Have it on Mad Max. I'm going to drop down to hurry, just because we're in this more suburban area. And then I'll pop up the service, camera visibility. Okay, camera preview. So this used to be grayed out while not in park. Let's turn it on now, see what it looks like. All right, so here you go. All the cameras showing. Obviously, for security purposes, I've blurred the internal camera. But we have all the cameras. And now, especially for this one, we have a blank spot right here. That blank spot presumably is going to be for the vehicles with the bumper camera, and that's where the bumper camera will show there, and then every other camera is showing simultaneously. So now you get the chance to see what the car sees out of each respective camera all at once, so that one, you can basically make sure that everything is clear and clean, but then two, so you can ensure that, hey, this is what the car is seeing, and it's not distorted, damaged, or dirty. So that's great. All right, so that's working. Good new update. Nothing critical. Train tracks, nice and smooth, nice and slow with the train tracks. Now I chose this route starting a little bit further away than we normally started for these builds, because there's a lot of construction going on in this particular town. And I'm not here every day, so I'm not sure what's changed and what's new. I'm gonna let the car kind of figure itself out in the way that it wants to go. But I will just toggle this view and go up here. Okay. So right off the bat, it needs to make a left, and left is blocked. So let's see what it decides to do. Let's see how it reroutes itself. I'll toggle between the camera and the map so you guys can see. It wants to make this left right here. Can't make the left, switches the turn signal on. Now it needs to reroute, and now it's choosing the alternate route. Good stuff. It's done a great job reading construction signs or reading the construction visuals. Nice little side street it can go through. Nice. I didn't even know this street existed. Like I said, FSD, Tesla self-driving, your local driver everywhere. Knows all the cool tricks and shortcuts that you might not have known. So that's pretty cool. Pop this back up. Steep hill here. It's got to climb up, peek out a lot in order to see. Looks clear to go. Goes for it. Nice. No sidewalk here in this particular street. It's got to be extra careful around the person with the car seat or the stroller. Great job. Great caution. Went wide on that one. Didn't necessarily slow down as much as older versions of FSD would do, but it just used the abundance of caution of being further away in case something happens. So no herky-jerky situations, just a nice smooth, get around, make some clearance for the pedestrian, and keep it moving. More pedestrians on the side of the road, slowing down a little bit here. Sees they're walking straight, no herky-jerky at all, just straight shot, which is awesome. That's been sort of the challenge, is finding that happy medium of overly sensitive and overly cautious, and making sure that, you know, it can be cautious, but not overly sensitive in its caution, to the point where it's just what they call brake stabbing the brakes, pumping the brakes in anticipation of what a pedestrian might do. Now, if the pedestrians start moving awkwardly, that'll cause some problems. Like pretending like it's going to run out to the left of the street, it'll cause problems. Or if they're like dancing and flailing around, that will cause some problems. We tested that out offline. See a little bit of brake pumping here. Not sure what the angle was going to be, but it's still nice and smooth, nice and continuous. I like that. Shout out to those who got version 14 Lite. Tesla finally got around to releasing version 14 Lite, as well as using the method that they were going to use to bring those version 14 features to hardware 3 cars. So if you got it in part of early access, congratulations. Would love to hear your feedback in the comments on how it's going. I do have a buddy that is in early access. He's a little bit ways away, and it's kind of hard to schedule, you know, when I want to shoot versus when he's available. So it's making it a little bit of challenging for me. I really hate doing that, where you have to kind of wait on somebody else's schedule and kind of figure it out. It becomes kind of challenging. My neighbor also has a hardware 3 car, but he doesn't have version 14 Lite just yet. So maybe when it goes wide, I can get it from him, which is a little bit more accessible. But for now, I'm just waiting for the schedules to line up and see if we can get in there and get a test of the version 14 Lite. But yeah, would love to hear the comments. Going out to Korea as well, early access in Korea, awesome. In other places, which is great. So glad that they're getting that out there and fulfilling that promise of taking care of hardware 3 folks. Obviously, we know hardware 3 is not going to be able to achieve full unsupervised self-driving, but get as far as it can go, make it as useful as it can be. And as I mentioned before, you know, big bump. Probably should have went a little slower on that one. I'm gonna flag that. A little bit of new construction situation where they kind of put those little, I don't even know what you call them, those metal slats, and they try to rough the edges with some concrete to make it smoother, but hard to see, difficult to see. Maybe the car didn't recognize it for what it was, but I flagged it just to add the data. All right, needs to make a right turn, let that person go. Creeping out nicely, and goes. But yeah, great job taking care of the hardware 3 folks as best you can, right? Give them as many features as they can, as many of the hardware 3 features there. There's a lot of features that are not there for version 14 that are there for hardware 4. 2-lane crossover, which is great. I know in one of our videos when I did the last second lane merge, someone was complaining like, "Oh, it's illegal." It's not illegal as long as it's safely done. And it's done in sequence. It's not just one big veer. It's lane, 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 which is what the car did. And then you can get off. You can do that, you know, as quick as you need to be, as long as it's in a safe capacity. So that was definitely good, not legal. So yeah, just keep in mind of that. Did the same thing here, just safely got cut across 2 different lanes in sequence, and made it happen. But yeah, so far so good. Super smooth, super good. Nothing really distinguishing over 3.4. Seems to be pretty much the same, maybe in anticipation for something coming up. This build might be, but we'll see what happens when it comes to parking. That's going to be the true tell here. But back to hardware 3, yeah, definitely we need to get them as much as we can get them. Unfortunately, we couldn't stick around long enough for that, and thank goodness we didn't, because they discontinued the Model S and X, and we would have definitely been remiss if we got stuck with a hardware 3 car and couldn't get a hardware 4 Model X in that instance. So here we are. Car wants to get over, car lets them. Another car wants to get over, he doesn't let them, and we're off. Great job staying in the lines, obeying the rules, following the directions and instructions, all good stuff. I'm interested to see if they will allow hardware 3 cars to at least do the press to start without brake confirm. I know some of the safety guardrails from early version 14 are there for now hardware 3. The same with the way that they were here for hardware 4. Brake to confirm was required. Maybe Mad Max is not there right now for them, maybe because of the speed factor of it. Maybe, you know, making decisions or processing decisions at that speed or that frequency becomes too much for hardware 3. I'm not sure. But what I do know, just based on the reports that I have heard and seen, is that it is a step improvement over version 12, which is great. And if they can make sure that the attention monitoring is also aligned with the newer versions of version 14, that's going to be a game changer for hardware 3 cars overall, because the attention monitoring for us was one of the deal breakers that got us to upgrade, because it was just so, everywhere you look, it's just like, pay attention to the road, pay attention to the road. Everywhere you do, pay attention to the road. Hardware 4 is so forgiving right now, not totally, but so much more. It's so much more relaxing. Pro tip for anyone who's using FSD, the attention monitoring is its most strict when you first start it. So if your intention is to activate self-driving and then go turn around or go look down and go do something or pick up your phone and do something, that is when the FSD is most strict, and it will beep at you immediately. So if you want to do it the pro way, activate, look straight ahead for a few seconds until it locks in on you that you're paying attention, and then go do the thing you want to do. Eat some food or glance at your phone or do whatever you need to do in the car. But if you do it immediately after you press the button, it's gonna get you. All right, destination options. So one thing I did not note since the last video is that since 14.3.4, it now does the pop-up for Model S and X. We're not totally forgotten here. Initially, when they released the destination options, the pop-up, once you got near, was only for 3Y Cybertruck, maybe. It's now available for the S and X. So if you have S and X, you probably already know this if you have 3.4, but just something to note that the pop-up does come up as you approach your destination, and then it'll tell you you're approaching your destination on the screen, and the menu will pop up giving you the option to change the destination option if you choose to do so. All right, so we're gonna hit this target from a different angle, which means that it may choose to park differently. Take a look at the map really quick. Let's see where the pin is. We're gonna hit it from a little bit of a different angle coming in. Parking lot is still the same, right? So the target is here. The parking lot for target is right here, and it still wants us to park here. So let's see, that looks like the map has not been updated, but we're gonna see where it decides to park. Maybe it ignores that and goes to the actual parking lot. Again, that's been sort of the real issue with FSD to date, if we're talking about nitpicking on things, is where it decides to park. The other issue I've noticed as I use this more and more and more, we did like a 200, 400 mile trip, and we were just doing FSD, you know, the whole way, which was great. Got the confetti. However, my kids were always distracting me every time I got to see it, so I couldn't stop a video of it. But what I noticed is that there are sometimes it hesitates for gaps in traffic that a human would take and it does not take. That still caused a problem. It needs to give a little bit of an encouragement or whatever, but sometimes it can be a little bit too generous, letting too many people go, causing people behind you to get upset and frustrated. So definitely keep an eye on that if you are using FSD in a densely populated area with very aggressive drivers, that, you know, intersections, sometimes turns, you know, unprotected turns, unprotected lefts, there's gaps that it would make it, and you should take it, but it doesn't. Again, using the abundance of caution, there's nothing wrong with that, but for the people behind you, it's gonna be a problem, just as an FYI. I feel like it should shoot those gaps in Mad Max or Hurry, and maybe take that level of precaution for anything lower than that. But even in Mad Max, it'll still hesitate in big gaps that you typically would want to take. Not all the time, but it does happen sometimes. All right, here we go. Pulling in. I've never been this way. Car's never been this way. Nice little zigzag situation here. Now, as you can see, the pin is straight. It's going to turn left, makes the full stop, turns left. See that hesitation? See that? That's a good example. It could have went, it should have went, it didn't. I want to let it do its thing, and it decides to go. Those are the scenarios I'm talking about, where it should have just gone. That car was turning so slowly. Okay, now it needs to park. Here's what it's showing you. So it's kind of doing its own thing, deviating from the navigation, which is great, as long as it has contextual awareness of where it needs to be. Probably could have gone to that lot, but I'm not mad at this lot either. This is the compact car area. See what it does. Oh, you could have got right in the middle instead of decided to park next to someone in a not so good way. All right, there we go. Here's the parking job it did. Not the greatest. This is a compact car area. Probably should have chose the spot in the middle because it would be away from both of these cars and been easier to pull in and get a nice centered situation here. But overall, great drive so far. First drive, nothing really to note right now in terms of differentiation between 3.4. Seems largely the same. Maybe the difference is going to be more apparent later as we do more drives. I haven't seen anything in the UI to indicate anything new. Safety maybe. What's that? Probably parental controls. Yeah, nothing new. These are all new things from before I hadn't touched. But yeah, so far, so far so good. Can't really complain about this. It's been really, really good. So good that it just becomes like, second nature. Like it feels like all cars should have this feature or have this feature. Now it's kind of boring now because it just does everything so well most of the time. And I say most of the time because I know it's not perfect. I know it has issues, just like I pointed out. Potholes are still an issue. I would love for pothole avoidance to be like the next priority for them. It's one of the major reasons for disengagement along with navigation. Navigation, pothole avoidance, those should be top billing for the next feature update, next point release update, or next major release. So overall, I think great levels of confidence, comfort, and an overabundance of safety in certain situations. Decision making, confidence, like I said, is all top notch. I'm gonna give it a high Uber Black. And again, this is not car service level of parking and getting you where you need to be. So like I said, small things, small little nuances that separate a Uber Black from a professional car service. And if you don't know and you've never done one before, get a chance. When you get a chance, try one out and you'll see the difference between a Uber Black and a car service. So that's the level, that's the level that it's trying to chase. It's not quite there yet. We're high Uber Black, so we're getting close. And we're staying close, which is key, right? We don't, no drop-offs and jumping back down to regular Uber Black, which is great. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you thought about this drive. Let me know if you got this particular version, if you're part of early access. Let me know if you got version 14 Lite and you're part of early access and what that experience has been like for you. Until the next time, enjoy your day, enjoy your Tesla.